UFC. It's Jonathan Agatha for Pro Boxing Fans, joined by Paulie Malignaggi. Welcome to London, Paulie. How are you finding it?
Doing good, doing good. I'm not on much sleep, but that's why I've got the coffee in my hand. I've just got here fresh off the plane to the press conference.
Well, big press conference. Ben Whittaker, everyone wanted him Olympic silver medalist. He has signed with Boxer and Sky. How much have you seen from Ben Whittaker?
I've seen a little bit, some highlights. I've seen him in the Olympics. I think he's got a terrific combination of charisma, personality, and tremendous fighting ability. He's got big marketing, big branding written all over him. So, barring any big disappointments, I think the sky's the limit for this guy.
He's linked up with Sugar Hill Stewart as his trainer. What do you think Sugar will bring to his game?
I mean, anybody Sugar Hill gets the advantage of a world-class, bona fide superstar trainer. Sugar Hill's resume speaks for itself. What he's done with his fighters speaks for itself. And obviously, he's a big punching trainer. You know, he brings out the maximum power he's going to get out of you. And so I think Whittaker's already blossoming talent will benefit from possibly a power surge if Sugar Hill is able to get what he wants out of his star pupil.
And you're also here for the Boxer show this Saturday night, the series. Talk us through what you'll be doing for that and what we're to expect from another series.
Yeah, Boxer, we started with these tournaments. I think they still excite the fans, they excite the people. One-night tournaments. I think this week we're doing cruiserweights. And I think it's important to stick with your roots as well. Obviously, Boxer is a growing brand, and it will continue to grow. Obviously, signings like Ben Whittaker and other guys have really made Boxer the topic of conversation. The deal with Sky Sports has made Boxer a big topic of conversation. But the tournaments are still something where the brand was rooted in, and it's important that we don't go away from those as well. And it continues. Not only do we feed the superstar level of the sport, but also feeding the up-and-coming level of the sport with maybe finding these hidden jewels, hidden talents among these tournaments. It can be a fun time.
Paulie, we saw Saturday night an upset in Las Vegas. Dmitry Bivol beating Canelo Alvarez. It was perceived as an upset. Was it an upset to you?
I mean, it's always an upset anytime the favorite loses the fight. But, I certainly think Bivol was underestimated going in. I think he was always a risk opponent. Terrific world-class fighter, naturally bigger. And, fought at a pace that was uncomfortable to Canelo. And that was sort of my question mark about the fight. Could Canelo deal with the pace Bivol would bring? Because Bivol would always bring kind of a pace that Canelo usually doesn't fight at. And Canelo usually diminishes your pace to the point where he forces you to fight at his pace. But guys like Bivol and Eastern Euro fighters, they're a little bit more mentally strong than the average bear. And, I kind of had a feeling that it was going to be harder to break him mentally and get him to diminish. And in fact, the opposite happened. Bivol ended up getting so confident that he ended up upping his work rate and taking more and more control of the fight.
There's been talk there will be a rematch immediately. Obviously, Canelo has the rematch clause. What adjustments does he have to make in a rematch to win the fight?
I think when they go back and think about it better, I would assume they wouldn't go for that immediate rematch. I don't think it's a smart idea. But if they make it at 168, there's certainly some talking points. A more comfortable weight for Canelo. Does Bivol struggle to make 68? Canelo comes in as the bona fide superstar champion in this weight class, regardless of the previous result. So you've got definitely more talking points for the rematch, but stylistically, I'm not sure Canelo matches up very well with Dmitry Bivol. I've never seen Canelo have the ability to raise his game when it comes to pace. He's got a tremendous amount of talent, but can he raise the pace? Because you need to match Bivol's pace, and I've never seen Canelo comfortable with a heavy pace in any fight. And so I'm not sure he can make that adjustment. We'll see.
Going into the fight, the consensus was that Canelo is pound for pound number one, and really it wasn't close. Now, when you look at people's lists, people having him at 3, 4, it's all changing. What is your view on the pound for pound list since the defeat? It is one defeat, his first since 2013. Do you think he's getting unfair judging, or do you think sort of moving him down the list is fair?
I don't know. I don't put much stock in pound for pound lists, but they're topics of conversation between boxing fans, so it's always a debatable thing. And anytime you have a debate in boxing, it's nice because it keeps the sport talked about, right? I personally don't really care for pound lists. I think they're total fantasy and total imagination. But I didn't have him as a definite bona fide number one. As a matter of fact, Terrence Crawford was my number one pound for pound regardless, even before the fight. But still, Canelo may still be the biggest star in boxing, regardless of the L, you know? And so for that reason, a lot of times popularity takes over, makes people number one more so than what their ability is. Canelo is still a top talent, but you know, where you put him on the pound per pound list is really going to matter very little, because ultimately he's always going to be a very big marketing point and selling point. And I think no matter who he fights, I think it'll sell a lot, and people will always be curious, and even crossover fans and casuals will want to watch. So that's why I wouldn't rush into the rematch of Bivol if I'm him.
Sticking on Terence Crawford, we think the Errol Spence fight may now happen next. How would you break that fight down?
You know, it's interesting because I got Crawford as my number one pound for pound, but I think Spence wins the fight. I think Spence is a naturally bigger guy, and that weight advantage, that natural size advantage will break down the Crawford, who has probably more versatility to him. But what Spence does have, he does it very well. And on top of that, he's naturally bigger and stronger. And I think ultimately, with the help of that body attack, probably, in my opinion, wins the fight. But I wouldn't put the house on it. You know, it's a tough fight to call.
We saw a massive fight in Madison Square Garden a couple of weeks ago, Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. Did you watch the fight, and what did you make of it?
Yeah, terrific fight. Really put women's boxing on the map, and just boxing in general. A great fight for boxing in general. But being that women's boxing has elevated itself, the sport has elevated itself to the point where they are now on big boxing platforms, unlike they were in the past. You know, now you needed this big rivalry matchup not only to happen, but also to live up to the hype. Because a lot of time, big time fights like De La Hoya Trinidad or Mayweather Pacquiao, the hype is there for the big fighters, but then when you match them up, they don't live up to the hype. It was very important for Taylor and Serrano to live up to the hype, because it was sort of the reputation of women's boxing was on the line. This was a big fight to where everybody was finally curious about a mega women's boxing match. So if it could live up to the hype, it would sort of set the building blocks for other women's rivalry fights to happen and get paid big and gain a lot of traction as far as popularity is concerned. And I think they passed that with flying colors. They did a terrific job entertaining the crowd, entertaining the fans. I think there's definitely a demand for the rematch because both fighters have definitely an argument to think they both won the fight. And you know, I left people talking about it and wanting more, which is all you can ask for.
All right, Paulie Malignaggi, thanks for talking to Pro Boxing Fans. Just tell us about your work on Paulie TV, new channel.
Yeah, new channel, Paulie.tv. It's on YouTube. I discuss all things boxing. I have guests, I interview them, and I give my thoughts on all the fights. You know, it's been a fun journey to start this new channel, and I'm getting a lot of positive feedback on it. I'm going to be continuing to discuss all things boxing on the channel, and you guys can check it out and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think of the channel. Let me know what you think of my thoughts on the fights. I'm also working with Pro Box TV. We're launching next week Pro Box TV with Jean-Pascal versus Man-Feng Long. It's a light heavyweight title eliminator, and also it is a channel that is only $1.99 a month. It's going to be 24 hours boxing content all the time for $1.99 a month or $18 a year. So it's very, very affordable, and you get all boxing content. And as we continue to grow that channel, we're going to be having it as a 24-hour boxing channel all the time. So I think people can look forward to that as well. Right now it's free, but it'll be $1.99, I think, starting next week when we finally launch officially on Fight Week.
All right, Paulie, good luck with that.
Fightstars.tv, I'm going to be working with them as well. I've done some work with them in the past. Be on the lookout for them as well.
Even busy, like it.
And one more. We're here with Boxer and Sky Sports as well. There's Ben Chimone, the president, right here, my guy. And just as I'm mentioning that, I'm working with Boxer in some different capacities. And you may start to see me back in the UK a little bit more if the fans demand it. You guys got to let me know. You guys got to let the powers that be know.
There you go. Paulie, appreciate your time, and enjoy the rest of your time in the UK, all right?
Thank you. I always do.